Hey Karen, you know what's really interesting? The managers on my team who really need leadership training the very most are the ones that are most resistant, who say, you know what, I've got it handled, I don't have time for that, and I don't need it. What should I do? Asking for a friend. Hi, I'm Karen Hurt, and I am here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend, not from the road, because I've got a day full of virtual programs. But this actually has a name. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's people are more likely to overestimate their capabilities in areas that they have the least competence. So it is very natural. So a couple of things here. One is when we start our leadership programs, we talk about a variety of things to help talk about this situation up front. We don't call it Dunning-Kruger, but what we do is say this. First, we have a syndrome we call Sasserant syndrome, which is so-and-so really needs this. And we say, you know, as you are in this training, we guarantee there will be a moment in time when you hear a concept, you learn a practical tool, and you say, you know who really needs this? My boss. You know who really needs this? My wife. You know who really needs this? My teenage kid. And you begin to think about how can you get this tool to them to help them. Now, of course, we would love nothing more than people to be spreading the word and sharing our tools and encouraging people to read our books. But first, if someone does that, they miss the learning for themselves. So what we encourage people to do is say, if you hear something and you think your Sasserant syndrome is coming up for you, stop and say, how could I apply this tool in my work first? Because as you go to share it, you have much more credibility when people say, oh yeah, is that is that thing I see you doing, and yeah, it is working. The second pattern we see is people will say, here's something that'll remind them of something else. So, oh yeah, I give feedback just like that. Or yeah, I know how to do that already. When that happens, encourage people to stop and say, you know it. Now, can you think of examples of how you are applying it? And to help recall that memory so that they are connecting what you're teaching that may have some nuances to what they're already doing. And if they know it, but they aren't using it, then you can have a conversation about how could you, great that you know it, how can you now apply this to enhance the performance of your team, to show up as a more connected, human-centered leader. And then finally, another way to think about this is, I am so glad that you already know how to lead like this. I could really use your help. How can you now train these concepts with your team? Can you help them apply the learning? Can you help them to check for understanding in their communication? Can you help them to stay focused on the most important thing? And how can you get involved in being a leader teacher? Not Sasserant, just go do this, but how can you use this in your coaching and development of the team? Because what we have found is when managers go and apply what they're learning with their teams, teach it with their teams, the learning is reinforced, the team is growing, and the leader is growing as well. So those are a few of my thoughts, and we'll see you next time on Asking for a Friend.